I want to share my experience and opinion on having a non-epidural birth with my fourth baby, who happens to also be my second VBAC, after having 3 different types of deliveries with my past 3 pregnancies. With my first, I had an epidural, but it ended up wearing off at the very end, so I could feel the end part of labor. With my second, I actually ended up having an emergency C-section because she was breached basically my entire pregnancy. With my third, I did end up getting an epidural, but I didn't get it until I was at a 9, so I felt all of labor up until that point. With my fourth, I decided I wanted to do natural and no epidural, and so we had no epidural with baby number 4. I'm really not going to talk about how painful or not painful the labor and delivery process was, because I feel like there's just so many videos that talk about that already. But what I do want to touch on and talk about are differences that I experienced with having a C-section and an epidural versus no epidural that I just feel like nobody really talked about. First and foremost, with obviously a C-section, you're not going to be super mobile right after you give birth. But even with an epidural, in my experience at least, I was never able to just get up instantly and move around. With my non-epidural birth, right after I gave birth, I was able to get up and move around. Second, in my experience, after a C-section, obviously, but also after my epidurals, I felt just kind of out of it, like a little bit loopy, almost like I was still on anesthesia. With my non-epidural birth, all of my senses were fully intact, and I don't feel like I felt that way with my epidural and C-section births. Third, however minor, I noticed a difference in the behavior of my babies. However minor, I noticed a difference. Fourth, the recovery process at the hospital to me was so much easier and more peaceful. Whether it's because it's my fourth baby and they figure I know what I'm doing, I just felt like they weren't checking on me all the time to make sure that my epidural had worn off. It was just a lot more enjoyable stay at the hospital. Last, for me, I have noticed a much faster recovery already, and I generally don't have tough recoveries, but the fact that I'm experiencing that much more improvement just based off of not having an epidural, to me was very shocking. And I'm never gonna say, yes, you absolutely should have an epidural, or no, you absolutely should not have an epidural. These are things that I wanted to share that I just really didn't hear anybody talk about. If I were to get pregnant and have a 5th baby, I absolutely would not get an epidural.